NBA for 8 years and even won a championship with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls in 1997. In 1999, he abruptly retired from basketball at the age of 30, walking away from a 5-year, $36 million contract.
Damn.
On July 6, 2002, Dele, his older brother Miles Dayboard, his girlfriend Serena Carla, and skipper Bertrand Saldo left Tahiti on Dele's catamaran. Only Dayboard was seen or heard from after July 8th. 2 months later, Dayboard was caught in Phoenix trying to buy $150,000 worth of gold using his brother's name.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man, hitting that like button on each and every video I drop. You guys are helping us push us into the algorithm, man, so I really appreciate it. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Let's seek the truth. A man shot his wife.
And they were both found dead. She must have been out of her head.
Oh my god, this is literally the dumbest man on earth. Hi, my name is Ethan, and here's everything you need to know in under 1 minute. On June 26, 2023, Patrick Profright and his wife were having an argument. Now, they had just had a baby that was only 3 weeks old, so the argument was early in the morning, which is understandable because they are suffering from lack of sleep and just a whole new adjustment. While Patrick's wife was holding the baby, Patrick entered the room holding a crossbow. The mood immediately shifted, and trigger warning, it's about to get dark. He allegedly raised the bow and shot at his wife. When he did, it accidentally hit his 3-week-old baby and his wife. He then pulled the arrow out of his wife and begged her not to call 911, but when she did regardless, he fled the scene. Thankfully, he was found and arrested and charged with second-degree murder and attempted, and his wife was okay. Unfortunately, the baby did pass away.
29-year-old April Holt was found deceased in her home.
What happened?
Her name is April Lynn Holt. On July 28th, she woke up, drank her coffee, journaled as usual, enjoying her peaceful morning, hugged and kissed her 7-year-old son Denzel, and her husband then went into the bathroom and began to argue and fight. My 7-year-old grandson put his ear to the door and heard his parents fighting, and he looked underneath to see both of their feet. He then listened some more, but he couldn't understand what they were saying, and so he looked back under the door again, where he saw my daughter laying on the ground. He then ran to his room. His dad shortly after came into his room, and he got him dressed, and he fed him. And he then had him go check on his mom. He asked him to go check on his mom, and when she unlocked the door by himself and saw his mom not breathing with a bag over her head on the ground.
This YouTube chef is accused of killing his lover. Daniel Sancho Broncalo is a 29-year-old celebrity cook and the son of 2 Spanish film stars.
Okay.
44-year-old Colombian plastic surgeon Edwin Artiga had apparently been dating Daniel. However, it's thought that when Daniel tried to break up the relationship, things took a dark turn. Daniel claims that Edwin threatened to release intimate photos of him in retaliation.
Blackmail.
Daniel states that Edwin was so obsessed with him that it ruined his relationship with his girlfriend. It's alleged that Daniel was really worried with the impact that leaked photos would have on his family's reputation. He was allegedly so worried that he would go on to kill Edwin. Now, the pair were actually in Thailand at the time and were at a full moon party when Edwin was brutally killed. Edwin's body parts, including hips and thighs, were found by locals in plastic bags at a landfill site. Authorities claim that Daniel has admitted to the killing and dismembering. Daniel has denied that the murder was premeditated, but Thai authorities state that it was. CCTV images allegedly show Daniel buying a knife, cleaning products, and gloves prior to the murder. He currently faces the death penalty if found guilty.
They found 7.
I guess that just goes to show you, man, if somebody just wants to end it, the relationship amicably, just end it. Don't try to drag it on. Don't try to force that person to stay in there because it can take a really dark turn. Tap in with us. You're gonna learn.
Bodies on a property while searching for 2 missing teens. Authorities say the 2 missing teens went to spend the night at the suspect's home on Saturday as they were friends with his daughters. However, when the girls never returned home on Sunday, their parents issued a missing persons report. After the missing persons report was issued, authorities say they were seen driving with the suspect in his pickup truck around 1:30 a.m. on Monday. The suspect, McFadden, is also a registered SA offender and was set to appear in court on Monday on charges unrelated to the 2 girls. He did not appear, and it was at that time a bench warrant was issued. When authorities arrived at his home around 3 p.m. on Monday, that is when they made the discovery of all 7 bodies. At this time, they've only identified 3 of the 7 bodies, 2 of which are the missing teen girls and 1 which is the suspect, McFadden. Additionally, on Monday, they said that he was also texting the person who he was supposed to appear in court on charges related to. Here's what those text messages said. Quote, "I did exactly what I promised I would do when I got out. I got a marketing job, great money, and was being advanced. Been there 2 years now and made great life like I promised I would do with you." He continues by saying, quote, "Now it's all gone. I told you I wouldn't go back. This is all on you for continuing this." At this time, police have not provided any further details, but I'll keep you guys updated.
What?
What do you guys think? Drop in the comments.
How you try to blame it on a
A wedding in
person?
Iraq has turned into total devastation after 119 of the guests were killed after the venue caught fire. Even more horrific is the fact that 27 of those people were under the age of 12. The tragedy took place this past Tuesday when 1,000 of the wedding guests were watching the bride and groom do the traditional first dance.
Okay.
To make the moment more special, the venue lit off these 4 giant sparklers, which caught the chandelier above on fire. Please be warned, the video I'm about to show is hard to watch.
This is all before I guess it takes
So the
place.
sparklers go off, and it caught the chandelier on fire.
Ooh.
And to make this even more frightening, once the building caught fire, the lights went out. Without being able to see, having 0 emergency exit, and there was no sprinkler system, people were unable to find their way to the main entrance. It took just minutes for the entire building to be engulfed in flames. Unbeknownst to anyone at the time, the walls of this building were made of the very flammable polyethylene. Prime Minister Sudani went to visit the more than 80 people still in the hospital. He also said that 12 people have been life-flighted to other countries to their burn unit. Authorities are holding the owner of the building, his 2 business partners, and the mayor accountable for this horrific tragedy. It recently came out that all of them were aware of the fact that this building did not meet the fire safety regulations. The Prime Minister has also said that people will be held accountable and the victims will receive compensation. Fortunately, the bride and groom both survived, and of course this tragedy was not their fault, but they said they feel so much shame over what has happened, they're going to leave the town.
Imagine that happening, man. Secrets to you guys, like on your wedding, that's supposed to mean the most like happiest day of your life, and it just turns into a tragedy. All because, like I said, some people they wanted trying to cut corners on costs on that building. They knew it wasn't up to code or they did it wrong, but they still just let it stand up and let somebody have a wedding there knowing that that building was up to code. People, man, like I said, with money get involved and anything that's try to save money, to hoard it, they'll do anything. This guy. What he see?
What is happening? You were on a different day on a bridge where there wasn't a rail in a way or a neighborhood street.
A man is charged with murder after joking that his ex would end up like Gabby Petito. 26-year-old Madeline Kingsbury from Minnesota was found dead in June. She was a mother of 2 and dropped her children off at daycare on March the 31st, shortly before going missing under suspicious circumstances. She was tragically discovered dead on June the 7th in a wooded area in Fillmore County. At the time she went missing, her ex-boyfriend, 29-year-old Adam Fravel, denied any involvement. He stated, "I want the mother of my 5-year-old and 2-year-old to be found and brought home safely. I want that more than anything." However, behind the scenes, things had not been as they seemed. The pair were newly separated and were in the process of moving out of their home together. They had apparently had an on-off relationship. Madeline's body was discovered near a rural property owned by Adam's parents. She was wrapped in a grey fitted sheet, which had apparently come from the home that they shared together. He was arrested the same day that Madeline's remains were found. When being arrested by police, Adam unnervingly mentioned Gabby Petito multiple times. Police state that he admitted to being infatuated with the Gabby Petito case. He also admitted that he made a statement to Madeline about her ending up like Gabby.
Science.
For those that don't know the Gabby Petito case, she was a 22-year-old girl who was strangled to death by her fiancé back in 2021. Police state that Adam claimed he was trying to make a joke.
Nah.
Texts were also found between the pair in 2021, and in one text, Madeline references a physical altercation they had. She wrote, "You know I'm not really okay with or over the fact that you put your hand around my neck and pushed me down in front of the kids earlier." Adam is charged with her murder and could face life in prison.
So this guy, this serial killer who I'd never heard of, killed a lot of people. Just a few days ago, this dude decides, hey, you know what would be a great idea is making inappropriate comments about my cellmate's children. Now, the cellmate happened to be a convicted murderer. I know what you're thinking, that's a recipe for some swift fucking justice, and you'd be right. So what this guy Billy Shamirmir would do was he would break into these senior living homes, or he would just knock on these old women's doors at their houses and be like, hey, maintenance. And once he was inside, it would always be the same. He would put a pillow over their face until they weren't breathing anymore. And why? What was the motive in all this? He just wanted their jewelry. He just wanted their belongings. 7 of 91-year-old Mary Bartell's neighbors had turned up dead in their retirement home before Mary got a knock on her door, but there was no concern in the air because all the deaths were just ruled natural causes. He told her, just go to bed, don't fight me, and then he forced that pillow over her face. But this time, things went a little different. He left, thinking he finished what he came to do, but Mary woke up and told the cops what happened, which prompted the police to start looking at these deaths. Now, as they're investigating this and they start to see a pattern, things going missing from the building, all that, they also find that a vehicle has been flagged across multiple senior living homes as being a suspicious vehicle. They look at the license plate on the vehicle and it leads them to Shamirmir's apartment, where they find Shamirmir literally with jewelry in his hands in the parking lot of his building, having just disposed of a jewelry box. A jewelry box of another 81-year-old woman who, when they go to her house, find her deceased with a lipstick-stained pillow by her side. Now, he had done this to 22 women over a 2-year period, and what also probably made it easier for this guy is he was actually a former at-home carry. So anyway, Shamirmir just earlier this week makes those inappropriate comments about his cellmate's children. Well, that of course turned out to be a fatal mistake, and Shamirmir was dragged out into the hallway and had a beating and a pen stabbing laid on him for the tiny window of 15 to 20 minutes before anybody working there did anything.
Tiny window? 15 to 20 minutes? That ain't no tiny window, man. That's just, I guess, man, as people, they all just ain't trying to get involved. That's like, that's like energy coming right back at you, man. That's why I've been saying these past couple of videos. You do something wicked or something like that, the energy's gonna come back to you. A month, late, years, couple of weeks from now, it's always gonna get back to you, man.
This social media influencer was murdered by her husband. And
Damn.
It's the perfect example of why you should not believe everything you see on social media.
Tell us about it.
Alexis Sharkey was born in Pennsylvania. She was described as one of those people that just literally lit up the room when she walked in. She was kind, she was smart, she was funny, and she just wanted to see other people smile. As you can see, Alexis was incredibly beautiful, so it's not surprising that she built a following on social media. Alexis would eventually meet and marry a man named Tom Sharkey. From the outside looking in, it seemed like their relationship was absolutely perfect and beautiful. Alexis would often share photos of their adventures together, and they just seemed to be very much in love and like they had the perfect life. But on a girls' weekend getaway trip, Alexis started opening up to her friends, saying that she was actually scared of Tom. She started telling them that she was the victim of DV and that Tom was very violent with her. And things would get even worse from here. On November 22nd of 2020, Alexis shared some photos to social media, and this was the last time she would ever post. On the 25th, Alexis called her mother and they started making plans for their Christmas trip. That would be the last time that Alexis would speak with anybody outside of Tom. November 26th of 2020 was Thanksgiving. Tom says that he and Alexis had Thanksgiving lunch together, and that was one of the last times that he saw her. By November 27th, Tom was reaching out to friends and family asking if anyone had seen Alexis because he hadn't. Tom would go on to tell police that Alexis had been intoxicated and he had asked her not to leave, but she did anyway, and then he didn't see her again.
Why?
And on November 28th of 2020, there was a body found pretty close to the apartments that Tom and Alexis lived in. The body that was found was completely nude, and police believe that this body was dumped in the location because the bottom of her feet were completely clean. So it's not like she walked there. Tom would go to the coroner's office later in that day and identify his wife. It was, in fact, Alexis. And at first it seemed like maybe Tom was just a grieving husband, but soon his behavior changed dramatically. Instead of helping Alexis's family plan for her funeral, he refused to help at all. In fact, it got to the point where he was taken off as next of kin, and Alexis's mother was actually put on as next of kin. I'll get into more in part 2. Give me a couple of minutes to film it and get it up. It'll be down in the comments.
Huge
All the signs were there
for this case, as it is very upsetting. 37-year-old Nancy Johnson from Alabama and her children were found deceased on the 28th of September. The mother of 2 drowned her children in the bath before taking her own life. Her children were 2-year-old Jacob and 5-year-old Maya. She also allegedly cut her daughter's throat. She then is believed to have unalived herself with a silk belt in a hallway wardrobe. The children's autopsies showed that they died from drowning, but Maya's blood loss contributed to her death. Heartbreakingly, the children's dad, Derek, was actually the one that found them. He found the bodies of the children on a sofa underneath a blanket. Nancy and Derek were in the middle of divorce proceedings and a custody battle. Nancy also had a history of mental illness. The parents had been ordered by a judge to start seeing the children on alternate weeks. The arrangement was due to start in just a matter of days. The dad wrote, "The amount of happiness and love that emanated from Mia and Jacob was very apparent to all that they were around. Our house was filled with joy and happiness. Their future was so bright in every way possible."
Celebrities that disappeared and...
It's crazy, man. It's like every single time when I hear something about like these divorce cases and stuff like that, it just like it always takes an ugly turn, man, when the kids are involved, because like one parent wants to have the kid, the other one, and they can't just agree to it. It always takes like a dark turn. We need to pay more attention to cases like that.
were never found.
Ooh.
Bison Dele played in the NBA for 8 years and even won a championship with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls in 1997. In 1999, he abruptly retired from basketball at the age of 30, walking away from a 5-year, $36 million contract.
Damn.
On July 6, 2002, Dele, his older brother Miles Dayboard, his girlfriend Serena Carla, and skipper Bertrand Saldo left Tahiti on Dele's catamaran. Only Dayboard was seen or heard from after July 8th. 2 months later, Dayboard was caught in Phoenix trying to buy $150,000 worth of gold using his brother's name, but he was not arrested. Dele's boat was eventually located in Tahiti, riddled with bullet holes that had been patched up. Dayboard was suspected of killing all three and dumping them overboard, but he took his life via an insulin overdose in September 2002. Before he could be charged with anything, the bodies of Dele, Carla, and Saldo have never been found.
You guys think about that case, man. Goes to show you gotta watch everybody around you, man. Doesn't matter, friends, family, anybody. Edit. We've seen this before, so you can
This is Funky
spot
Town,
them
one of
out.
the worst cartel execution videos explained. Okay, before I begin, this is a massive trigger warning. The video begins in some sort of room and there is music playing. The first song that plays is Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses, and the camera pans to the victim tied on the floor with some plastic wire, but the torture already began before the video starts. Because the victim looks like he already went through complete brutality. His hands have already been cut off and his face has been completely flayed, which means skinned. There is no skin on the victim's face at all and his eyes have been gouged out.
Damn.
And there's an insane amount of blood on the floor. But the most messed up part about this is that the victim is hooked up to some sort of IV, and the IV is pumping him with drugs to keep him alive and aware, making sure he felt everything happening to him. At the start of the video, they try and slit his throat with a sickle and press it against his jaw. But when the victim begins to scream, they shove a box cutter in his mouth to shut him up. His screams are absolutely gut-turning. They kept going from screaming to gurgling, from screaming to gurgling. And as the video progresses, they take the box cutter and slit his throat about 40 times. And keep in mind, the victim is still alive and aware of everything because of the drugs they are giving him to keep him alive. Also, the killers are mocking and laughing at the victim the entire time. They continue to try and slit his throat with the box cutter and were going at his neck numerous times, all while the song Funky Town was playing in the background, hence the name of the video. The killers kept having to physically restrain the victim, meaning there was still a lot of life left in him, and the amount of pain he had to be in is completely unimaginable. At one point in the video, a man had his foot on his chest, holding him down, and another time they had shoved a pole in his mouth, holding him in place. But the worst part about the video is towards the end, where the victim manages to loosen his arms from the restraints and immediately tries to touch his face. But remember, the victim has no face at all, no hands, and no eyes. But instinctively, the victim still tries to touch his face.
Phantom names?
It's absolutely horrifying, and the video then concludes. Keep in mind, the victim was still alive when the video ended, so who knows what else they did to him before he died. Because they were literally keeping him alive just to torture him. This victim went through so much pain and torment, and you can make an argument that nobody has ever been tortured as bad as this guy ever. I explain this based off pure memory from the first time I saw the video, because I won't dare watch it again because it's that gruesome. Everybody who saw videos like this always say Funky Town is the worst of the worst. And I honestly think that might be true, so please don't watch it and please don't search it up.
I won't.
This is probably one of the worst true crime cases that I've ever heard of. In August of 2019, David Sumney brutally beat his mom to death and then took 277 photos on his cell phone of the gruesome crime scene. The photos included selfies with her body, posing with blood smeared on his face, and even a photo of him giving a thumbs up. After he brutally killed her, he put her body in the bathtub and proceeded to record himself washing off her corpse. When the family couldn't get a hold of 67-year-old Margaret Sumney on August 31st, 2019, they knew something was wrong. After trying for 2 days with no success, they had the police conduct a welfare check at her Pennsylvania home. When authorities couldn't reach Margaret, they forcibly entered the home where they discovered shattered glass everywhere and blood smeared on the walls and furniture. Upon investigating, they then found Margaret's badly beaten body in her bathtub. According to the autopsy report, she died from blunt force trauma to the head, neck, and torso. When interviewed by authorities, David initially stated he had nothing to do with his mom's murder. But when police searched his phone, they found the 277 gruesome photos.
4K.
Along with that, authorities also found Margaret's jewelry and 3 of her blank checks inside of a hotel room where David had been staying. David was arrested on September 4th, and during his trial, a defense expert stated that at the time of the murder, he had taken a high dosage of Adderall, which caused diminished mental capacity. His lawyer argued that the murder was strictly due to drug and alcohol use. David was initially facing a first-degree murder charge as well as abuse of a corpse, and if he was charged with that, he would have faced life in prison without parole. But unfortunately, he was allowed to enter a guilty plea, which dropped both of those charges, and instead he pleaded guilty to third-degree murder. He was sentenced to 20 to 40 years in prison, but since he's been behind bars since his arrest in 2019, he could potentially be released in just 17 years. And the scary part is that according to prison employees, they consider David a model prisoner who attends Bible studies with other inmates. And this makes the reality of him being released so soon a real possibility. It should be noted though that David had been arrested twice in the past for assaulting his mother and once for attacking his now deceased father. Adding to this, he also faces a pending case for allegedly waterboarding and strangling an ex-girlfriend, which also took place the year of the murder. David Sumney is a terrifying man, and the fact that he could ever be released back into society is a terrifying thing.
Hit the nail on the head. All the patterns are right there, and it's like people, they just continue to ignore that. What she said at the end, man, she was right. Like, that's terrifying, man, how somebody like that can be let back into society all because they're just showing like good behavior now after the fact that they did that horrific act. And like I said previously, man, friends, families, nowadays, man, sorry, and especially in this state of the world, doesn't matter. You gotta watch your back with everybody. That's just a plain fact right there, seekers. If you guys made it with me to the end, man, you're a true seeker, seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, hit that post notification bell. Also, man, you can follow me on my social medias. Links are in the description, so we always can stay connected together as a community, seekers. Guys, can catch you in the next videos. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, Facebook, IG videos, man. Anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that like button, man, hitting that post notification bell, so you all guys always get notified when I upload my next video. You guys are helping the channel so much, man, trying to push us into this algorithm. I greatly appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today, man. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Let's seek the truth.
The elevator game. The point of this game is to go to a parallel universe. To play, you need to go to a building that has at least 10 floors. And you need to be the only one in the elevator at all times. If somebody interrupts the game, start over. Then go to the floors 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, and 5, in this exact same order. Once you're in the 5th floor, a woman should enter the elevator. But don't speak to her and don't look at her, because she's not a human. And she will take you and keep you with her forever if you interact with her. Then press the 1st floor and the elevator will go up or down, but it will take you to the 10th floor. At this point, leave the elevator immediately. The woman will ask you where are you going, but do not respond. If you see a red cross outside one of the windows, then you'll reach the other world. You're alone there, your phone doesn't work, and it's dark outside. Go back, do the steps all over again. But when you reach the 1st floor and something doesn't feel right, don't leave the elevator, because you will die. Would you play this game?
Creatures in the back.
Did you play that game, seekers? No, man. When they be suggesting these games and stuff we should play, I never played it, man. That's too much bad energy around for me. I can't deal with that.
Groups, part 4.
Whoa.
The windows are entities in the shape of windows. The windows have a figure inside, always pointing at its target. If the target is unaware of the figure, it will attack immediately. If not, the figure will try to bargain with the target. Never trust any windows on any level.
In the back rooms? Okay. Damn. You got a story with this one. Okay. Whoa. Same sequence over and over again? Somebody was trying to communicate with her through Morse code? Whoa, what the hell? Daddy. That's a creepy ass story. She said the same sequence kept happening over and over again, man. It's Morse code. I've always wanted to learn Morse code, man, because I feel like, you know, sometimes if you get into a situation, it's best to, you know how to get a message out without, trying to be so direct. It could save your life. Like, she was communicating with something else through Morse code, so I'm never going to have to check that out. Disneyland. We know Disneyland likes to hide stuff and keep things behind the scenes. We heard a couple of stories. Hanging on the rafters on the facade? What the hell? It was a doll? That one says freaking. I know that's gonna have some questions down below, man. Theories. People thought it was a child, but it was actually a doll that was hanging on the side of the rafters in Disneyland. You guys, we've heard a couple of stories about Disneyland. You know how they like to keep stuff hidden from the public and stuff like that, so they don't want no accidents on their park. So that one really raises questions. Just gotta be aware.
This is why you should always sprint up your stairs at night. In 2018, a boy was up late gaming in his basement when he decided to go to bed. The basement's only light was controlled by a pull chain at the foot of the stairs, which meant after he pulled it, he'd be downstairs in darkness, so he would sprint up the stairs.
Hell yeah.
Because everybody knows if you're not fast enough, this guy'll get you. So he did just that, and he made it upstairs safely when he realized he had forgotten his phone in the basement. So he took a deep breath and headed right back down.
Why didn't he just turn on the light? Is that an edit? You know, we can spot those. Those kids do not look like they enjoying the Easter Bunny. The first couple of kids. It's like they're traumatizing them, bro. You see the kids don't like them.
Here's a short, scary story. It was 1 a.m. and Calvin sat in his dark living room. The accident from earlier that evening just kept replaying over and over in his head. He was in his car and the light turned red, but he was in a hurry, so he just accelerated.
Okay.
All of a sudden, he saw an orange blur, and before he knew it, there was a body on top of his car that slid down onto the pavement beside him. A bicyclist rolled across his hood and fell out of sight. Horns started blazing and he panicked and he just drove off into the darkness. So now he just sat at home thinking, you idiot, how could you do that? And then he heard a knock on his door. It was the police. He started freaking out. He knew he couldn't afford a lawyer. He just began explaining, I'm sorry, officer. But the police officer just stood there and said, are you Calvin? I'm sorry, but your son was in a hit-and-run accident. He died on impact. I'm sorry for your loss.
No way. That's like one of the most chilling stories you heard. He was in the accident and it was his son, man, and he left the scene. Whoa. I guess that's why that's what a cops or the law says, man. When you're in an accident, something like that, you're never supposed to leave the scene because you just never know who that person is. Try to contact the ambulance, man. You just can't. That's late. That's hit and run. You can't do that. That's against the law. Look what happened. And the energy will revert back to you. Do something wrong, the energy will just come back to you. It may take a couple of days or years. It's gonna catch up to you. Whoa.
Okay, you won't believe what I found. I just found something extremely dark. If you look at the Texas Department of Criminal Justice website, you'll see death row information. A list of people the government has killed, and you get to see who they are, what their crime was, their last statement, their name, jail number, and even the county they were killed in. Ooh, look, they have career opportunities. Funny thing is, the data is updated in real time, and the last person that was put down was on February 6th, 2020.
Really? You can check that out?
Disturbing facts you didn't ask for, but you're getting anyways. Now, I love The Wizard of Oz. It was my favorite movie growing up. But did you know that a lot of messed up things happened during the filming of this movie? Judy Garland was forced on a diet of soup, crackers, and 80 cigarettes a day. She was routinely groped and molested by a lot of the Munchkin actors. She was forced to film many, many hours every day and then given drugs to help her sleep. This actually contributed to her drug addiction and eventual overdose. She was even slapped by one of the directors on set. Additionally, there's a rumor that one of the Munchkin actors hanged himself on set, which many people believe can be seen in the background of one of the scenes.
we know these movies, man, like I said, they be having like cursed productions and stuff like that, especially when it comes to horror movies. But to hear that happen on The Wizard of Oz, how many kids and people watch that movie? It's gonna make me view that movie differently, man. You know, people used to watch that all the time. It's like when we learn this information, it changes the way how we look at things. Wonder how many people know about the true story of The Wizard of the Oz. We're gonna have to one day we're gonna have to dive deep into these Hollywood productions, man, the behind the scenes, because there's something going on.
What is a fact that could possibly save your life? If you encounter a mountain lion, do not turn your back on it. Walk backwards. Cats are ambush predators. They don't want to fight you head on and will wait for you to turn around to attack.
Okay.
In a crisis situation, people run from the door they came from. When the shooter walks into a restaurant, run for the kitchen. There's always an exit through the kitchen, and very few people will think to run there. Plus, if you're not armed, a kitchen is full of killer cutlery to defend yourself with. If someone is trying to abduct you, and fighting back or yelling for help doesn't work, then pretend to faint, or vomit on them. If those tactics don't work, then take the chance of getting stabbed or shot to escape. Once you get in a vehicle with the abductor, your odds of surviving are less than if just injured in public. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food.
Would you choose?
If you are ever caught in an avalanche and buried under the snow, spit. Gravity will tell you which way is up.
Oh. We learned some facts today, man. Tap in with
These are
us.
things that you do not want to know. Part 1. On average, a solar storm happens every 150 years, and the last time a solar storm happened was 155 years ago. So that means we are overdue. After you die, your brain will still be active for about 7 minutes, so you will know when you die.
Whoa.
Spiders usually travel in groups, so if you see a spider in your room, there's probably a few more. And for the last one, if you're not following me, this will be in your closet tonight.
Crazy facts, man.
Stuff that's happened to you lot, part 2. This happened about 3 years ago. I woke up about 7 AM for school as normal and got on with the everyday routine: brush hair, get dressed and eat breakfast. When I was done, I got in the car and went to school. When I got there, everyone was acting like I was invisible. When the teacher shouted my name in the register, I responded and she marked me down as absent. I went to call my dad because I was upset, but I realised I didn't have my phone. This went on for the whole day. At the end of the day, I got in the car and went home. I went in my room to go and lie on my bed when I saw myself in my bed. I screamed and woke up in my bed crying, with my dad sitting next to me saying she's finally awake. I couldn't wake up, and when I asked what time it was, he said it was 4 PM and that I'd missed a whole day of school because I was in a sleep coma. My dad made that term up. But when I went to school as normal the next day, I remembered all the lessons and everything from the day before. I believe that I had an out-of-body experience, but I can't be sure.
What do you guys think, man? She was in a sleep coma, or did she, like, have memories, man, of... Because she said she knew what was going to happen, so it seems like she freaking had some... She could see into the future or something like that? Maybe not see into the future, but she just, like, she had already lived that day. Or she had, like, memories of something. Because she was in a sleep coma. I mean, has that ever happened to you guys where, like, you guys were, I guess, sleeping and you had a memory that was, like, or a dream that was, like, so vivid that you thought it was real? And then it kind of happens, like, the next day, but you think it may be deja vu or something? Happened to me a couple of times.
Great facts. Part 61. Due to the genetic makeup of our eyes, we see better in the dark with our peripheral vision. If you didn't know, that's out of the corner of your eye. Basically, the two things that help us to be able to see is rods and cones. Cones help us detect color, while rods help with light intensity.
Okay.
We have more rods on our peripheral vision than we do in our central vision, which means that the corners of our eyes are better able to see in the dark. So, keeping that in mind, if you see something out of the corner of your eye in the dark when you're trying to go to sleep, but it's not there when you look right at it, it could possibly be there, theoretically.
Send this video to someone that is absolutely terrified of clowns. A young boy named Nathan was walking alone to meet up with some friends at a nearby carnival. When he arrived, they rode roller coasters and eventually made their way to a circus tent with live performers. They went inside and saw a group of clowns performing. They were dancing, juggling, and one of them was riding a unicycle. The boys got closer to the stage, and the one riding the unicycle slipped and fell, and his red nose landed right beside Nathan, who picked it up, put it in his pocket, figuring the clown had plenty more. After the show was over, Nathan was walking back home when suddenly he heard a slight chuckle. He turned around and shined his flashlight. He could make out a shadowy figure holding a sharp object in his hand.
The figure said in a creepy, sinister voice, "I believe you have something of mine." Nathan slowly backed away, pleading, "No, I don't. Please leave me alone." The figure stepped into the light. It was the clown from the carnival. He said, "Well, if you're not going to give me my nose, I'm gonna need yours."
Remember, man, that craze a couple of years ago, you guys, man, how people were dressing up as clowns and just scaring people, man. I remember that big craze. It was on YouTube. It was everywhere. It was like a dangerous time, man. It's like some people, you know, took that clown crap too far. I'm not scared of clowns, but sometimes they do be looking creepy if you look at them long enough, man. I don't think they're my jam. You guys, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, we're uploading every single day, so hopefully you guys, man, are enjoying my efforts, man, of trying to get these videos out to you guys every single day. Like I said, subscribe, hit that post notification bell, hit that like button. Gonna continue to grow, continue to get better with each and every video. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the world, from TikToks to YouTube videos to IG Reels, Facebook, man. Anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man, hitting that like button, man. You guys don't know how much you guys are helping out the channel just by doing those 3 simple steps, pushing us in the algorithm, man. We're finding other seekers, so I appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today, man. Let's do what we do best, seek the truth.
The curdling facts that you wish you never knew.
Tell us about
Part 16. Kangaroos are absolutely terrifying, and if you mess with one, it will likely lure you into the water and attempt to drown you. There's an abandoned Disney park that you aren't allowed to go to, and it was shut down in 1999 because it was infested with free-roaming alligators. The animals were being abused, and an 11-year-old boy died from a flesh-eating bacteria found in the park's waters. In the movie The Wizard of Oz, the lion's costume was made out of a real skinned lion. This is the John Lawson house. No one knows who lives there, but every single day, there are several female mannequins sitting on the front porch wearing a variety of clothing. Their positions and outfits change daily, and many believe this is meant to convey some sort of message. And in 1871, a train crash took place just 200 feet away from the home, killing 22 people. And these mannequins are always pointing toward the crash.
Tap in, you're gonna learn some
disturbing
facts with us.
that will ruin your life. There used to be real human remains in the Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean ride. There are at least 200 corpses on Mount Everest. There is no physical evidence to say that today is Sunday. We all just have to trust that someone has kept count since the first one ever. The human brain not only named itself, but it also recognized that it named itself, and was surprised when it realized that. No one knows exactly how anesthesia works anytime they put you under for a routine operation. There's currently no scientific explanation for why you are unconscious. Hit the plus sign if these disturb you.
That last one got me about the anesthesia. So we're pumping our body full of medical supplies and stuff, but we don't even know how it truly works or functions. What happens if something goes wrong or something like that and they can't detect what's going on because they don't know the full extent of anesthesia? I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong, but you guys know what I meant. That actually shocked me, bro, that we still don't know the full effects of that. That's mind-blowing if you really think about it, man. And the fact that the brain named itself? Let's continue, man. Crazy.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. There are thousands of old diseases frozen in the glaciers of the world, and global warming will eventually release them all.
Oh, man.
If a person dies in their costume at Disney, like Mickey Mouse, they have to be sat down on a bench so it looks like they're resting. Climate change is making spiders bigger. Some female spiders allow their young to eat them alive. Tooth in the eye surgery is when surgeons put a tooth in a blind person's eye to restore their sight. It was pioneered in the 1960s, and it actually works, and it's still being done today. The chances of a successful CPR outside of a hospital is only 7%. Cell phones are 10 times dirtier than a toilet seat. When you suddenly wake up during the night without any reason, there was someone or something staring at you. Yeah, there's a lot more, like for part 12.
Top in, man. Especially about the part with the cell phones. That's actually crazy. Watch where you put your cell phone at. It's dirtier than the toilet seat, man. Damn. I gotta disinfect my phone daily now.
The 5 countries in Africa with the strongest juju.
Okay.
At number 5, we have the Republic of Congo. Here, witchcraft is said to be practiced across all ages in the region.
Ooh.
In fact, in a 2013 report, a staggering 50,000 children were accused of witchcraft in the Republic of Congo. Most of the accusers claimed that these children had showcased bad behavior and were therefore possessed. Number 4, Kenya. The practice of witchcraft is said to have become so prominent in Kenya that it has been commercialized. In just about every suburb of Nairobi, you will find at least one advert, hand-painted on a little plate nailed up on a pole, advertising the services of a witch doctor. There are also numerous stories of Nairobi women using these witchcrafts to secure men. Number 3, Malawi. In Malawi, there are 2 districts where it is said that the residents partake in advanced levels of sorcery. It is rumored that there are men there who possess the power to travel from Malawi to the USA in seconds. Number 2, Zambia. It is said that the practice is very alive and well in Zambia. There have been several reports of severely sick Zambians who were healed completely after a quick visit to their local witch doctor or traditional healer. Number 1, Nigeria. Nigeria's exploits in this regard has gathered a lot of media attention over the years, with people said to be using witchcraft and sorcery to attain wealth, secure wealthy partners, and battle enemies. Fourth one.
Here's what would happen if you were born on a plane. Let's say you were born on Turkish Airlines. They would have to pay your tuition and you would have free tickets for life. And while flying over a country, you would immediately become a citizen of that country. That's cool. However, in special cases, the airline you are on will also grant you their citizenship. So hopefully you're on a good airline.
So if you're born over, like, so I'm guessing if you're born on a plane or you're going over the country, you become a citizen, they said they have to pay for your tuition and get a free passport there. And people about to be saving money, man. Whoever had a freaking, I guess, kid on the plane where they get dual citizenship. I never knew that.
This is the last thing anyone expected. Just within the last 24 hours, footage of where Ryan Garcia had claimed to be kidnapped has just been released.
Oh, they took me to the woods, bro, and they tied. I'm not joking, bro. I have proof, bro. I don't give a.
Oh.
Bro, I will show you every video you could ever believe. Bohemian Grove is real. They tied me down and they made me watch, dog. I absolutely don't give up anymore. Yes, I lost it. There could be little kids.
Now this is exactly why you can't be playing both sides, because after this video and audio footage was released, he had tweeted on how he has been going through some intense spiritual attacks and constantly fighting demons. And even if you look at one of his most recent conference gatherings, you can see him manifest from one person to another.
First, I want to give glory to Jesus Christ. I want to invite the Holy Spirit to come. I do drink, I do smoke. Now what? Alright, what if I came up there and I fuck out of you, motherfucker?
The orange cat, who was accepted by a herd of capybaras at a Malaysian zoo, has received his own official signage and is now an official resident of the capybara habitat at Zoo Negara. The cat's name is Oyen, and it's believed he lost his mother as a kitten, but he found his family in the capybara habitat, and he seems to think of himself as just another capybara. And the capybaras are just as comfortable with Oyen, happily welcoming him into the herd. He's been seen within the habitat for the past several years, and over time he's become so popular that some people visit the zoo specifically to try to catch a glimpse of him. Because he's such a beloved resident of the zoo and he's made clear that he intends to stay with his capybara friends, he finally received his official signage in front of the habitat last month. Now, the capybara habitat is officially Oyen's home. Zoo staff has indicated that Oyen and the capybaras are happy and healthy with no signs of distress, so they're happy to let the friendship continue. And while Oyen has been spotted snacking on some leafy greens with his friends, he is fed his own cat-friendly diet by the zoo. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day. And you can see more from Oyen and the capybaras on Zoo Nagara's account, which is tagged and in the caption.
It's crazy. He just integrated himself with the herd. Guess that goes to show you, doesn't matter who or what you are, man. Become a part of that herd, they'll accept you, what you are.
There are 800 dead people in this lake.
Come again?
That got your attention, didn't it, you sick son of a bitch? This is Roopkund Lake in the Indian Himalayan mountains. And this remote alpine valley is home to the skeletons of between 300 and 800 individuals. Their bones lie scattered along the lakeshore and constructed into grotesque sculptures by passing hikers. Since its discovery in the 1940s, countless papers, studies, and theories have been put forward to answer one simple question. What happened at Roopkund Lake? Why did so many unfortunate souls lose their lives in this remote mountain pass, and what happened to them? Now, if you've heard of this, you may think you're familiar with the answer, that it was a group of pilgrims that were struck down by hail. But recent studies have uncovered that the truth is much, much stranger. So tonight we're going to go over this mystery from top to bottom. Try and finally answer the question, what happened at Roopkund Lake? YouTube channel, Mini Minute Man. You only see me from short form content? Come check it out. It's like short form, but a lot longer. I'm gonna go put on my wetsuit, and I'll see you there.
Part 24
Man, what
is
happened?
one of the most horrifying stomachanophobia things I've ever seen in my life. This guy is named Brickley, and he's at Disney Springs, and he is a gigantic, huge, 50-foot long, 25-foot tall dragon entirely made out of Legos.
Whoa.
A lot of people, he might not be scary. He's kind of silly looking, but the fact that he is absolutely ginormous is actually horrifying to me. His massive head alone is about twice the size of a human being. Nope. He's also made of about 3 million Lego bricks. I know you think, like, oh, I could deck him. I could just make him explode. I'm pretty sure he's glued together with, like, super glue, so you couldn't do that. That was definitely my first thought, that I could take him in a fight. Also, he's been there for about 30 years, so you can see the corrosion starting. I can't imagine what it looks like underwater. How about this? Does this scare you, or is it just silly?
It's been there for over 30 years? I wonder who built him.
Never say this out loud, or you will die. There's a cursed Japanese poem called Tornado's Hell. And supposedly, if you read it out loud, you will die or be cursed for life. Now, you can read it in your head. This is where things get crazy. A man named Suji Teriyama decided to make and direct a movie based on the poem. Exactly 1 week after the release of the movie, he suddenly dropped dead. By the way, y'all, I asked y'all to name our new baby, and the highest voted name was Steve. So I guess when this guy hatches, his name will be Steve.
Since we got this baby together, you do owe me child support.
Now this other story is also crazy. There was a schoolgirl that was dared to say the poem out loud. Look, you got friends daring you to do stuff like that. You need to get rid of them. Literally 1 week after doing the dare, she suddenly dropped dead.
Woo, look at that, baby. Look at that. Sheesh.
I flashed the poem somewhere in this video, but I'm telling you, if you find it, don't read it out loud. Or I'm gonna come to your funeral and tell everybody you're stupid. You're stupid.
I ain't reading that poem. Too many bad energy, too many bad signs.
The Power of Time. This sculpture at an abandoned cemetery in Poland is slowly being absorbed by a tree. The black spots on this dog faded over 10 years. I didn't know it could happen. Bones now versus phones 20 years ago. Which one would you pick? This father and his daughter and cat 10 years apart. Adorable. These two brothers returned to Chernobyl and recreated the same pictures after 30 years. And the tiny car was still there. Subscribe for more.
How the hell did they get into Chernobyl? Isn't that where that it's like one of the most radioactive places on Earth? How the hell were they able to travel there? Were they even let inside there? Crazy. And everything was still the same 30 years later. Just goes to show you, man, how nothing's around that place. It's completely desolate. There's the sky, man. We know we can spot the edits, man. When we see these clips, we can spot them, bro. We experts now.
shit.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that video is fake, but this is as real gets. Proof that dinosaurs never left, they just rebranded with feathers. Allegedly, this is a stellar sea eagle. Many would say the biggest eagle on Earth, although some would like to have a word. Matter of fact, here's the biggest eagle in your area code based on where you live. South America, you get the homicidal hippogriff, the harpy eagle. A buckbeak-coated middle finger to the food chain. Nature gave them short wings, and they used them to commit flybys in the dense jungle. They also have claws that could dap up a grizzly bear. With America, we got the golden eagle, also known as a final destination for goats and chamois. That's a chamois. This bird will make an honest attempt on the life of anything with a pulse, which is why they have a hit list of over 400 animals. The African crowned eagle is like the harpy of the motherland. Same short wings, same claws, same problems. They've also allegedly murked small children, and the famous Tongues child, which you see right here, is widely believed to have been escorted off the census by an African crowned. Wedge-tails are the dinosaurs Australia deserves. Not only will they run fades with kangaroos, they'll fly anything in their presence, and you're liable to get drone strike. This is the Philippines eagle. If you've never been flexed on by a bird, get absolutely mauled. It's a monkey eater that also has an argument for being the biggest op in the sky. Although they're endangered, so really they should be afraid of us. Moral of this video, the most devious trick dinosaurs ever pulled was convincing you they left in the first place.
Have you heard about this man who passed away while squatting 400 pounds? 33-year-old Justin Vicky was a bodybuilder and personal trainer with more than 30,000 followers on Instagram. Justin was a regular at the Paradise Gym in Bali, but on July 15th, 2023, he attempted to squat a total of 400 pounds, but things went horribly wrong. Mind you, this was all caught on camera, but I don't want to upload it because of TikTok's policies and I don't want this video to get taken down. But basically, during one of Justin's sets, he failed to lift the bar back up and it snapped his neck. He only had this person spotting him, which a lot of people have said that he should have had at least 2 other people on both sides to support him in case something like this happened. This video shows the moment Justin falls forward and his neck gets crushed. It was reported that the force of the weight broke Justin's neck and compressed the vital nerves that connected to his heart and lungs. He was rushed to the hospital where he unfortunately passed away.
You know, I don't think I really hate any animal. Every animal has a purpose, except this. I hate this bird, I hate everything it stands for. If Happy Feet had an Antarctic Antichrist in its cast, that movie would have been a snuff film. This is a giant petrel, but if you're a sailor, you probably know it by its street name, the Stinker. Because this satanic seagull on steroids is a meal plan of rotting, decaying, disease-ridden foulness I can't even imagine. Or maybe I just don't want to. And like an air-conditioned vulture, they have the same table manners, meaning they'll pull up to a corpse and start eating it from the softest point. So if you ever peep this flying, confident, red-faced, no, it just got done tossing an expired elephant seal salad, which makes their choice in self-defense somehow more offensive. Press a petrol or its kid, and no projectile vomit, vile-smelling, corrosive stomach oils right to the face. Oils that are so acidic, they can actually strip the waterproof coating off other birds' feathers. You know, I said vultures, and that's not fair. At least vultures usually wait for you to die. Petrels do no such favors. Pain paralysis demon will snatch up miners like Dan Schneider and rip them open alive. And remember, the Stinker will pull organs right out the poop chute. The freeze-dried booty bandit has been known to drown other birds like the Australian gannet. You wanna know what this predatory prostate exam is? This is if hyenas had wings. And don't think they just go after chicks. If they find an injured penguin, they will personally speedrun the process. Well, actually not speed, because again, the anal undertaker don't wait for you to pass tense. It's like the booty warrior from Boondocks came back as a bird. Blights in the animal kingdom with a negative rice purity score with a wingspan that can reach a shack. Alright, I'm done. They're not that bad. I just don't like the way they sound.
They're crazy, man. That's Black Air Force energy right there.
The red heifer sacrifice ritual. What is it really? Let me summarize this for you.
Okay.
In Judaism, Jewish people are impure, and for them to be purified, they must sacrifice a very rare breed of red cows known as the heifers. Now, the cow must pass a certain list of criteria, like having no spots, never bred, must be a certain age, doesn't have black or white hairs, etc., etc. And then afterwards, they must light this cow on fire, involving some cedar wood and sage. I'm not really aware of the technicalities. But then they use the ashes of this cow for purification of the Jewish people. This sacrifice ritual must be done in Jerusalem, facing the third temple location, which is the Aqsa Mosque. These cows are super rare. The last time this ritual was done was 2,000 years ago. Israel has found 5 cows that meet this criteria in Texas. They bought them for $500,000 and then flew them to Israel over a year ago. And the sacrifice will commence in Jerusalem before the 8th of April, which is next week. But what is the purpose of this sacrifice ritual? Number 1, purification for Jews. And number 2, the coming of their Messiah. And to us Muslims, this Messiah is the Dajjal, the Antichrist. sacrificed. It is not the Messiah that we await. This is not an ordinary sacrifice. This is a sacrifice to the devil. I'm sure some of you will say in order for the Dajjal to come, he's not supposed to be mentioned in the minbar for many years. But I can argue with that because the Dajjal has not been mentioned on the minbar in most regions for many, many years. So is he coming?
Okay.
Probably, yes. If they do the red heifer sacrifice, destroy the Aqsa Mosque, and build a third temple, he will come.
A lot of information, man. Of those clips that were shown to us. It's crazy.
This is the scary story about the woman in the night. A young man moved into an apartment building. The first night he slept in his new apartment, he was woke up by somebody knocking on the door at 1 o'clock in the morning. He got up and opened the door, and standing there was a young woman. She apologized for waking him up and told him that she was his neighbor. She said her husband was beating her and asked if she could spend the night on the sofa. The man felt bad and let her stay the night even though it seemed strange. The next morning, he checked the living room and discovered that the woman was already gone. He assumed that her husband and her made up. But that night, at the same time as before, the same girl was knocking on the door. The man opened it and she said her husband had beaten her up again and wondered if she could spend the night on the sofa again. He said yes, and the next morning when he got up, the woman was gone again. The man grew suspicious and asked his landlord about the strange neighbor. The landlord's face grew pale and said nobody lives in that apartment. He said a woman who lived there died 1 year ago after being beaten to death by her husband.
So what the hell was going on? Was he like communicating with a spirit or something? Someone's playing like a sick joke because he kept coming to the apartment like the same night after night at the same exact time, dude. Is that just a story? Got a lot of theories swirling around in my head right now after that clip played.
They kidnapped her for 44 days straight. Damn. The whole time, the 44 days, they were torturing her during these 44 days. It wasn't just those 3 guys that tortured her.
Yeah, Denzel told me about it all like.
Yeah. Yakuza, there was at least 100 Yakuza members who came and helped torture her.
Yeah.
One day, she caught them slipping, got the phone, tried to call the police. One of the guys saw, slapped the phone out of her hand, and he was mad, right? So I think they took lighter fluid and burned parts of her. Right? The crazy thing is, she survived that.
No way.
Yeah, a couple days went on. They were playing a game. The girl beat the guys at the game. They're even more mad. They're like, what the fuck? So her again. This is when she died, and then I think to end the story, they put her in this little like casket thing where there was cement, and they buried her alive. I think the police found out. The main guy, he was locked up.
Yeah.
But the other guys, the police didn't want to put out the names because they're all minors. That did the shit. So they're all free right now.
Damn.
Yeah.
Terrifying sounds extinct animals used to admit, and the last one's the worst. If you don't know this extinct mega chicken, you must be living your life under a rock. This is a dodo bird. 3 feet tall, 45 pounds, and a pair of chicken wings that are more useless than a penguin's. It can make an omelet for a family and produce a sound that would cause me to move to Mars. The lizard that got into your bag of trend, the velociraptor. Or should I say Jurassic Myth, because they didn't look like this at all. Hollywood lied to you.
Oh.
At least the film's fuck-up looks more like a Utah raptor. This is actually what a velociraptor looks like. It's basically also just a giant chicken. Moving 25 miles per hour and hunting in packs isn't the scary part. It's the way they sound. The only difference between this next animal and my meat is that it went extinct, the Titanoboa. And if this BGC's length at 50 fuck-no feet isn't impressive enough, how about its 3 feet in girth? This twisty telephone pole could squeeze at 400 psi, crushing any 20-foot crocodile that lived at the time. And this no-bro makes a sound like no other. The extinct blubberbuzz that used to swallow the megalodon, the Leviathan whale. This living sea monster is a distant cousin of our daily sperm whale. Except unlike the living load we have today that primarily consumes giant squid, the Leviathan had no predators and ate everything. And the sound alone is enough to terrify me. Congratulations, you made it to the final animal. And I'm sorry you have to hear this, but the T-Rex doesn't actually look this way. Real-life Reptar looks much more terrifying with a haircut like Grandpa. And boy, do I have news for you. Their arms weren't useless. It said that they could have bench pressed up to 400 pounds. And did I mention they can also swim? The sound they made is weird, but the closest relative they have alive today is also weird. It's the I'm so sorry it had to end this way. Enjoy.
What? T-Rex true sounds, bro? That's crazy to even think about, man. I had never knew the T-Rex and the chicken were, like, I guess, relatives, or, yeah, distant relatives. And the designs I'm about to see, we seen the all the Jurassic Park movies, man. Shit, they know it's Hollywood, so you know they was probably gonna, like, lie on the designs, but I guess if you show the designs of the Jurassic Park movie and the true, like, actual T-Rex, so like I said, the Velociraptors, they're completely different, man. It goes to show you how much freaking Hollywood has, like, brainwashed people, man. People just take it for what it is. You gotta do your actual own research. See, crazy. If you guys made it with me to the end, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Tell me down below, guys, what you guys think of these clips that we reviewed today. Also, man, tell me down below what can I also do to improve the channel. I'm always looking to improve, so I appreciate all the feedback. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe. The super thanks is also available. I turned that on. We're continuing to grind, man. We're gonna continue to post daily. Guys, I'm catching the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.